Tom?
Terry, if you wanted to send him down to get some swings or something, and would probably entail waivers or something, do you think you could make that happen, or was that part of the deal?
No, the only way you can send a player down like this is to have options. He doesn't have any options left.
You can't put it through waivers or anything?
No, no. That's the reason the Red Sox could send Drew back to the minor leagues. He had an option left. Kendrys does not have any options, so we're stuck. And it's not ideal, but we'll make it work. It's just part of the rules. This isn't the most ideal scenario here. I'd like to send him down to Rochester, get him going for about 8, 9, 10 games and see what we got. It's not going to happen. We'll end up having to nurse him through, and he's activated today, actually. He'll be on the bench for today's game. Derek.
Terry, have you ever had an experience like that with a player whom you couldn't send to the minors and tried to get in the flow at the majors?
Actually, I've had an experience about 4 years ago when Jason Marquis' daughter became ill. He had an option, so we sent him to New Britain, which was ideal for his home life. He pitched, and then he went home, pitched, went back home for about 3 or 4 weeks. He doesn't have that flexibility because he's out of options. And, you know, whatever, it is what it is. We obviously knew what we were getting into before we signed him, so we'll get him going and see exactly. He doesn't have to worry too much about fielding right now. He's going to DH, but you know, ultimately he's going to have the ability to put a glove in his hand too, when Mauer needs a break and so forth. So I think we'll be okay. John?
Kendrys, how has it been having to watch baseball for a third of the season? How did you handle that?
¿Cómo te sentías viendo pelota por medio de un tercio del equipo de la temporada? ¿Cómo te sentías tú? No podías jugar. ¿Cómo te sentías?
Bueno, no es fácil, ¿no? Para un jugador que sabe que puede jugar, ¿no? Estar sin trabajo. Pero nada, hay que ser bastante fuerte mentalmente y esperar que es el momento que uno está ready, ¿no?
He said it wasn't easy for a baseball player to watch baseball games and knows he can play. He says, but you got to be mentally tough and be prepared so when this option does come around that you're ready to do what you got to do. But it wasn't easy because he knew he could play. But then again, he says, like he said right now, he says, you got to be mentally ready when this does come, that you can go help. Okay.
Dick?
How would you compare Safeco Field from a hitter standpoint to Target Field?
¿Cómo comparar los Safeco y el de
Bueno, el Seattle es bastante difícil, ¿no? Para un bateador. Aquí las veces que yo he venido he tenido buena producción, ¿no? Es bueno para batear este parque, para bateadores bastante bueno. Nada, esperamos que lo mismo que yo hacía cuando venía, seguir haciéndolo ahora.
He says Safeco's difficult to hit in, but he keeps telling us, and he keeps saying that every time he came here, he enjoyed hitting here. And he, that's what he's looking forward to, because for some reason when he came here, he really liked hitting here. So.
Alfonso.
Kendrys, ¿cuántos días necesitas para estar listo para tu debut con Minnesota? How many days do you think you need for your debut with Minnesota?
Bueno, si le daría día lo estaría engañando, ¿no? Primero hay que estar, no sé, quizás sea 5 días, puede ser 10, puede ser 7. No puedo decirle día exacto, pero voy a estar seguro que sea lo antes posible y trabajar bastante fuerte para entrar lo antes posible.
It was asked again, and again he answers, when is he going to be ready? He answers, I just be leading you guys on. He says, it may take 5 days, maybe 10 days, maybe 7 days. But when I'm ready, I'll be ready. Okay.
Chris?
Terry, you've got a great core of young players from Latin America. In addition to Kendrys' production, well respected throughout the league. Is there an added layer of benefit in having a veteran player from Latin America in the clubhouse?
I don't think it's going to hurt any, Chris, but productivity is most important when it comes to gaining the respect in a clubhouse or on the field. Just because you're from Cuba, you aren't going to have that built-in respect unless you go out and do things. Just like any veteran player, you bring guys in here to solidify them in your clubhouse, help with leadership, calmness, no panic, all that good stuff that comes with a veteran player, but unless they're doing it themselves, I'm not sure all that stuff plays much, but he's well respected in the league. I've certainly done enough background on him to realize that he's going to fit in here. Bobby's been around him in winter ball in LA and Seattle, where he played previously. He was well respected in the league. People have already talked to Suzuki about what kind of hitter he is from both sides, which is nice. And I think we've got a guy here that not only, he's sat out for a while now because of all that stuff that surrounded free agency this past year. I suspect he's pretty well ready to go here and give us everything he's got. And with that comes that respect that's built in.
What do you see from this lineup? Some of the games that you've seen, if you have any, but what do you see from this lineup on paper as well?
Que si has visto juegos de nosotros jugar y qué mira de la gente que tenemos ahorita en el equipo cuando estamos de bateo.
Bueno, lo mejor es que es un equipo que sabe pelear, ¿no? Tiene bastantes jugadores nuevos que son muy importantes. Darle emoción al juego con los jugadores nuevos. Nada, lo que hay que seguir haciendo lo mismo que estaban haciendo hasta ahora, que estamos ganando. Y nada, pues dar mi granito, ¿no? También, para seguir jugando el equipo.
He said that, he sees the games, he sees guys that play with a lot of emotion, a lot of hustle, play hard, and basically he said he's been saying the same thing. He just wants to be here and come in here and just be part of a group that's going out and plays hard every day. And when they're on the field, they play to win, and that's what he's going to come there and try to add to.
Phil?
Terry, Kendrys isn't the only one getting a late start on the season. Is this kind of a signal that you're back full time as well?
Well, I'm not quite 100% like he is, Phil. But I'm itchy. He's more ready to take on than I am, I think. I'm about 80. I still have some things between physical therapy and swallowing and diet and that type of stuff, not to get into my health history, but I'm getting closer. I've made a trip to Cedar Rapids. Rob's going on this trip, so I'm not there yet, but he's closer than I am, I can tell you that.
And Terry, can you explain the one-year deal and why it wasn't more, or how this came about?
Well, I think that was their choice. He's trying to, like all players that go into free agency, things didn't work out probably the way that they wanted this past go-around, but he's got another crack at it. So that's as good an explanation as I can give you. If we wanted to go multi-year and wanted to pile on and so forth, we probably could have done something like that, and there's always that opportunity as you go through the season to revisit that, but I think they were looking at a 1 year, and that doesn't bother us at all either.
We'll do two more. Tyler?
Terry, Kendrys was asked about this, but do you have an expectation when he might be ready to go, or is it going to be day-to-day pretty much?
I wouldn't want to be premature in predicting that, Tyler, because he worked out, done underneath the supervision of a guy that I know quite well, Alex Ochoa, and he was in Miami. So he's got a lot at stake here, but the worst thing we could do is push this thing and hurt him before he's prepared. So I will take it as it comes.
Danny in the back.
I'd like to know, he said he's day-to-day, 5 days, 7 days, he's been hitting 6 days a week. Is his hands calloused up? I'm a big hands guy, I want to know. He's ready to hit it. Go by his hands.
Que si no tiene no puede tanto batear, si está lista la mano para batear. Que tus manos están listas. He said, you want a picture so he can show you?
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for the press conference. Before,